start with the next talk. The next talk is regarding artificial intelligence. That is Professor Amit Apte. He'll be talking to us about it. As an audience, please do indicate language preferences. अगर आपको लगता है कि थोड़ा सा हिंदी या फिर मराठी में अगर आपको कुछ समझना है, just let him know. By default, he might start with a bit of English, but if you don't understand, just raise your hand and say if you want to hear something. Some words might still be in English. We can't help it beyond a point, but we'll try to incorporate as much flexibility as possible. So over to you, Amit sir.
Thank you. हे बरेच मोठी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दिलीस. हिंदी, इंग्लिश आणि मराठी तीन लँग्वेजेस मला जमणं कठीण आहे. माझं हिंदी काय एवढं चांगलं नाही आहे. मराठी जस्ट अबाउट, म्हणजे टेक्निकल गोष्टींबद्दल बोलताना मराठी जास्त मला अजून बोलता येत नाही, पण आय ट्राय. म्हणजे हे सगळं इंग्लिशमध्येच आहे. होपफुली दॅट्स ओके. आणि प्रश्न असले तर मला विचारा. तुमच्या मित्रांना मैत्रिणींना विचारले तरी चालतील, पण आय थिंक मे बी आय हॅव अ बेटर चान्स ॲट आन्सरिंग. आय डोंट नो. ऑफकोर्स दुसरा एक ऑप्शन आहे की तुमच्या फोनवरती कोणा किती जणांकडे फोन आहेत मला माहिती नाही. व्हॉट इज कॉल्ड AI, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजन्स, जे काय हल्ली असतं ते असिस्टंट तुमच्याकडे असतीलच. आय एम शुअर ऑल ऑफ यू हॅव युज्ड इट. त्यामुळे यू कॅन आस्क देम द क्वेश्चन्स. ओके, ठीक आहे. सो this is supposed to be meet the scientist. So मला प्रश्न विचारा. It should be a meeting, not a one-way lecture. थोडेसे काय काय स्लाइड्स वगैरे आहेत, सगळं बघितलं नाही तरी चालेल. But please ask question. म्हणजे I don't want to stand here and talk. तुम्हीच पण थोडंसं बोला, so that will be easier. So but just to lay the stage, right? मी कशाबद्दल बोलणार आहे? आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजन्स, कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता. पण आय थिंक AI इज सो कॉमन की AI that works pretty well. त्यामुळे आणि दुसरं, I don't want to tell what is AI. I want to try to tell how AI works. That's the. I guess I should use this. मी इथे उभा राहतो. So माउस वरती दोघा. So can you actually, हे दिसतंय का मागेपर्यंत? Can you see that thing? Okay, good. ठीक आहे. So I'll try to remain true to this sentence की AI म्हणजे काय आणि AI कसं काम करतं ह्याच्याबद्दल थोडा समजायचा प्रयत्न करेन. And let's see how it goes. Okay. Mouse you can see on the screen. Yes. Okay. Mouse also can be seen. ठीक आहे. So and as I say it, then there is this quote from that I think I'm saying something clearly, and by the time it reaches you, the whole thing kind of disappears. But okay, that's life. That's life of a teacher. So, okay, but let's see where we go. Meet the scientist. As I said, please प्रश्न विचारा. जे काय कळणार नाही, कुठेही काही कळलं नाही तर लगेच प्रश्न विचारा. चार गोष्टी. AI म्हणजे काय, AI म्हणजे काय नाही, and I didn't know how to do this in Marathi. हे मला अजिबातच, I just couldn't do it. पण ठीक आहे. पहिले दोन प्रश्न आहेत. The answers are more like nouns. म्हणजे काय, हा ऑब्जेक्ट म्हणजे काय, ही गोष्ट म्हणजे काय. The last two fill in the blanks are adjectives, characteristics. AI is what? AI is not what AI is not, something, right? So okay. पहिले दोन आणि शेवटचे दोन, they are not exactly the same thing. They are quite different. पण ठीक आहे. So those are the 4 points I'll talk about. 10 minutes each, maybe. Total of 40 minutes. Let's see. Okay. AI basically it's a pattern recognition system. How many fingers do I have? मोजले का नाही मोजले? का तुम्ही अजून केले की मला 5 असायला हवेत असं? किती वेळा मी न मोजताच सांगितलं? ऍटलीस्ट कळेल. यू गुड. ऍटलीस्ट यू ऑनेस्ट. सो 5 आहेत का नाही? ठीक आहे. समजा 5 आहेत असं म्हणायचं असलं, हे कसं कळलं की मला 5 फिंगर्स आहेत? काउंट व्हॉट? व्हॉट डिड यू काउंट? What do you mean by finger? What is a finger? What is this? Okay, well you have a finger, so that doesn't make a finger. एक बोट म्हणजे काय finally? It's a body part, but then this is not a finger. So it's not any body part. The shape, the pattern. So this, each of these shapes, but this shape is not the same as that shape. But they're all still fingers. So they are larger classes. So essentially, identifying how many fingers I have has two parts. One is identify the pattern that says this is a finger, that's a finger, that's a finger, and so on. And then actually count how many fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So all of these problems are, sorry, I should show this. Finding patterns. Okay, ते एक झालं. आणि तुमच्याकडे जर पेन असला किंवा पेपर असला तर एका हाताची हे काढा, काय चित्र काढा असं सांगितलं. हाऊ डू यू डू दिस? हाताचे चित्र कसं काढतात? Okay, of course you can, first thing you can trace.
We can trace or we can put a bottle for round and we can make a line for the.
Okay, so you can do, actually you can do the following. Hey, chop, yeah, okay. By the way, माझी चित्रकला is like a epic thing. म्हणजे मी हत्तीचे चित्र काढलं की ते just about live thing. It's not a stone. That's all you can make out. But ठीक आहे, let me try. हा हात आहे का नाहीये? नाहीये? कसा नाहीये? So असू शकतं ना एक तर, आणि दुसरं ये हाथ होता है, ये नहीं होता है, तो ये क्या है? मिट्टी है लेकिन हाथ है ना. Okay, so now there is a problem with recognizing pattern, right? हाथ म्हणजे काय नक्की? हा पॅटर्न काय आहे? हात म्हणजे. But generally so fine if मी असा काढायच्या ऐवजी असा, ओके सांगू 1 2, स्लाइटली बेटर, थोडंसं जास्त हातासारखं दिसतंय. So this is now not just recognizing patterns but generate new patterns. मी हाताचे चित्र काढायला सांगितलं, that then you generate. You just can't have it in your head की ओके हात म्हणजे असा असतो, हे पॅटर्न रेकग्नाइज केला ते झालं. पण चित्र काढायचं म्हणजे you have to generate a new pattern. So AI is basically built to do these two things largely: recognize patterns and generate new patterns. So हे जे सगळे प्रश्न इथे लिहिलेत, एक फोटो दाखवला, is it an image of a car? You have to recognize a pattern. Identify number of digits in an image. समजा मी फोटो दिला आणि त्या फोटोमध्ये हा फोटो असला, यू हॅव टू टेल मी हा कुठला नंबर आहे? 5. पण तुम्हाला जर इंग्लिश अजिबातच माहिती नसतं, हा कुठला नंबर आहे? 5 आहे नक्की, पण नंबर आहे. पण मी समजा विचारलं हा हे विच लेटर इज इट? 4 5 लेटर नंबर नाही. 5 okay 5 okay. Wait. Okay, fine. Now let's come back to as a letter. Maybe you can say this is a P. आता इथे मराठी प. ओके, तुम्ही आता मराठी शिकता का नाही मला माहिती नाही, पण so as a letter this is P. This is not a number 5 anymore, right? So that there are confusions about these things. So identifying patterns is not as easy as it sounds even for humans. आणि ते मशीनला कसं शिकवायचं? एक कॉम्प्युटर प्रोग्राम जो मला सांगू शकेल की हे प आहे का 5 आहे, कसं कळणार? So that's what AI is supposed to do. Okay, पुढचा प्रश्न, तिसरा, complete the sentence, there is a, आणि पुढचा शब्द पण नाहीये, GRE dot 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 dot. How do you do this? Okay, great, gray, green color, green, yeah, well, that, does it start? Okay, spellings. By the way, try this with, so तुम्ही ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Gemini, Cloud, there's so many of these models, आणि त्यापैकी प्रत्येकाला हे देऊन बघा, complete the sentence and stop it there, GRE. Actually, some of them come up with this. It sounds like gray something. Wrong spelling. And इथे GRA आहे, तिकडे GRE आहे. Sounds very similar. If I say there is a great lake, there is a gradient. Sounds very, very similar. So they also can be tripped. Okay. आणि समजा मला तुम्हाला बोलवायचं असलं या इथे टॉक द्यायला तर काय करायचं? Well, write invitation letter and you can send it to me. वगैरे वगैरे वगैरे, right? आणि nowadays there are so many things. Ask intelligent questions about AI, and then you can ask me a question. So आतापर्यंत होपफुली खालचं सेंटेन्स वाचून झालेलं असायला हवं. What exactly is intelligence is still actually something that is not specified in all of this yet. I just said recognize patterns, generate new patterns. Is that intelligence? But is it not intelligence? I don't know. Okay, so here it is. 42. 42, thank you. So, हे काय आहे? ही image 42 म्हणजे आहे काय? Have you heard of pixels? तिकडे जे काय दिसत आहेत, एक स्क्वेअर जो दिसतोय, that's a pixel. आणि त्या पिक्सेलचा रंग असतो, आयदर काळा असेल, ग्रेइश असेल, लाईट ग्रे असेल, पांढरा असेल, वगैरे वगैरे असे फॉर्म, दॅट फॉर्म्स अ इमेज. आणि ह्या इमेज मध्ये आय थिंक देर आर 28 by 28 पिक्सेल्स. सो 28 पिक्सेल्स हॉरिझॉन्टली, 28 पिक्सेल्स वर्टिकली. So it's an array of 28 by 28 pixels, and suddenly you have to say it's 4, it's 2, it's a 5. But there are basically 784 pixels, and from that emerges the number 4. How does that happen? What is the process by which you do this? तुमच्यापैकी कोणाला तरी हे उत्तर काढता येईल का नाही? Finally, every pixel is a grayscale between 0 to 255. What's the total number of images? 1000. थोडेसे जास्त, a little bit more than 1000. Okay, this is maybe for people who have done exponential functions and so on and so forth. Okay, ठीक है. But this was a completely aside. Artificial intelligence is typically a neural network. That the popular image of that is something like that, where the input to the network is an image, and the output of the network is what is it that the question they are trying to answer. So for example, in the previous case, what's a digit? It's 4, it's 2. So the input will be the image, the output will be the number that's in that image. That is what a artificial intelligence does. So basically artificial intelligence, if I can draw a picture, you give it an input, and you get an output. That's what artificial intelligence does. In this case, the image goes in and comes out answer 4. In this, the image that is shown here, for example, can you recognize the person in the image? If you given the image of Shah Rukh Khan, does the network say Shah Rukh Khan? If the image gives, if the image is that of, let's say, classroom, It should say a person, it should say a classroom, and so on and so forth, right? So basically it's an input-output map. So this is what is called a function. So a artificial intelligence is essentially a function that tells you what the output is if you give the input. And that's a deep mathematical concept that's pretty much underlying all of mathematics. So finally, AI is a part of mathematics that studies functions that can recognize patterns and generate patterns. So finally, mathematics is unavoidable. That's what I do. Okay, so it's a mathematical representation of a set of inputs mapped to a set of outputs. Right? समजा image दिली तर the label of the image. A part of a sentence, next word in the sentence. एक प्रश्न विचारला तर त्याचं उत्तर. So प्रश्न हे input झालं, उत्तर हे output झालं, and so on and so forth. Right? You give an input of, let's say, X-ray image. Is there a disease, and what is the disease? That's the output. So these are all the sorts of different AIs that are being developed. How does this piece of code work? The piece of code that takes the image of a number and gives out a number. How does that work? So again, that was my part of, instead of just saying what, it's a function. How do you generate a output given a input? The how is as follows. Let's play a game. Suppose I want to write a sentence. मला इंग्लिश मध्ये लिहितो, मराठीत लिहिणं कठीण जाईल. किती जणांना वाचता येतं मराठी ते पण मला माहिती नाहीये. सो आपण एक इंग्लिश मधलं सेंटेन्स जनरेट करायचा प्रयत्न करूया. अँड द गेम इज दिस. हात वरती करायचा अँड टेल मी अ लेटर. ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट डूइंग इट. Just raise your hand. I'll ask you. You tell me a letter. M. O. R. A. X. Is that okay? Fine. K. Fine. Okay. Last one. That's it. Done. I'm done for now. So, is that going to form a sentence eventually? Is that going to become a sentence? This will never become an English sentence. This is not an English word, for sure. Okay, so randomly असे letters select केले की that's not going to form a sentence. So that's not a good input-output map. Input काल मी मागितलं, मला काहीतरी letter घ्या, तुम्ही मला letter दिलं, that's an output, and then I just keep writing it. That's not going to form a sentence. So this is bad. This is a bad way of generating sentences. What AI does, at least at the base of it, it's something as follows. You take, इथलं हे गेलो, तिकडे आहे, fine. You look at let's say 1000 different text, म्हणजे 1000 एक पुस्तकं वाचली, then you can see that this is not any word in any book, and hence it cannot be an English sentence. It cannot be a part of an English sentence. पण हे वाचायला सुरुवात केली, feed an image to a piece of code. If I start with a sentence that said feed an image with, then you know that it's an English sentence. How do you recognize this? You recognize it by reading English text multiple times, and that's basically what an AI actually does. How does it do it? You have a piece of code that takes, for example, यातले पहिले 3 शब्द जर दिले, feed an image, that's the input now. Input is not just any random input. Initial set is given as input, आणि त्याच्या पुढचं कसं जमतं तर there is a, so here is where again, इथे the board space is all taken up by everything. मला माहिती आहे इथे 4 बोर्ड होते, so I came prepared to write a lot of things, but then now everything is taken up, so I have to keep erasing this. आणि so English dictionaries are ughadli, then you can keep writing English words. and so on and so forth. And now you start looking at patterns. Suppose I give you IM. IM च्या नंतर काय येऊ शकतं? IM च्या नंतर X येऊ शकतो? IMX. Is there a dictionary in which IMX and ... Is there a word? If there is no word like that, then you drop this from your bag of possible completions. You keep a. So IMA, that you keep as inside your bag of possible completions. IMG, is that a possible completion? Well, you have to find out whether it is in fact a part of some word, somewhere. Not initial part, but somewhere in the middle of a sentence, middle of the word. So this you have to also keep. But this will occur less frequently than this occurs. हे जास्त वेळा दिसणार नाही, हे बरेच वेळा दिसेल, हे कधीही दिसणार नाही. So now you start building up experience की प्रत्येक पॅटर्न किती वेळा दिसतो. And then you make a big table की हा पॅटर्न एवढ्या वेळा दिसतो, हा पॅटर्न एवढ्या वेळा दिसतो, हा पॅटर्न एवढ्या वेळा दिसतो, हा पॅटर्न एवढ्या वेळा दिसतो. It's an extremely large table, millions of entries, but computers have no problem in storing millions of entries. And that's basically what a AI does. How does it do it? It stores patterns आणि आपण प्रश्न विचारला, it goes back and looks at all possible patterns it has stored and looks at, oh, this is there, this is there, this is there, this is not there, this is not there, and gives you the most probable answer. What is it that will make a difference? The longer I make this, for example, if I do this, I am A, now 3-letter patterns instead of 2-letter patterns. Of course, the pattern now becomes more and more complicated. This is what is called a context. How many letters, actually those are called tokens, but for now letters is good enough. How many letters do you store in order to recognize the next part of the pattern, next part of the sentence, the next part of the phrase, or some part of the image? How much are you taking as an input in order to create the output? That is what is called a context. So ही एवढी so 3 लेटरची कॉन्टेक्स्ट दिली, then you get some output. 10 लेटरची कॉन्टेक्स्ट दिली, then your output will become better. These days साधारणतः आता ते large language ChatGPT, DeepSeek ही जी models आहेत, they use context, that is the number of letters that they store in order to give you the next one is roughly 1 million. Or at least a few thousand, 10,000, 20,000. So if you give me 20,000, a sequence of 20,000 letters, it will tell you what the next one will be. So that's where the power comes from. It's a pattern recognition system for which you have to give an input of a sufficiently long context. It will give you the next part of that pattern and keep going and keep going and keep going. That's the same thing with images. Images मध्ये सेम असतं. पॅटर्न म्हणजे काय? इमेज मध्ये पॅटर्न म्हणजे काय? इमेज मधला पॅटर्न म्हणजे पिक्सेल्स. You look at parts of the image, you look at pixels, and you store those patterns, learn those patterns, and start to recognize what an image is, what an image is supposed to represent. So, how does it do it? It does it by essentially memorization of everything that's fed into it. So, that's why कुठे गेला तो quote? Where was the other previous quote? This is gone, disappeared. Okay, anyway. Isn't anything that measures intelligence really just a measure of practice? You practice more. जास्त practice केली की जास्त memorization होतं. जास्त memorization केलं की eventually you think that you know a lot of things. And that's a big part of it. But we'll come to what it is not as well. So it's not everything. Memorization is not everything. It is important, but not everything. Okay, so that's how AI works. It recognizes patterns, patterns of pixels, patterns of letters, patterns of numbers, and outputs the next pattern, right? So suppose एक the system that knows how to recognize digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually 10 नाही, 0, sorry, 10 काय? Digits. 0 ते 1 एवढे digits समजा recognize करता आले आणि त्या सिस्टमला ही जी इथे इमेज आहे, हे स्माइली फेस, ही इमेज इनपुट केलं. व्हॉट इज इज आउटपुट? what is the digit corresponding to this image? Okay, so 0 is a good guess, so maybe that's what it will be. दुसरी image, ही image जर दिली तर काय? It's not a digit, it's not a number, so it should tell you it's not a number. And then you will think that, oh, maybe it is intelligent because now it knows that it's not a number, right? And so on and so forth. So the more patterns you recognize, the more intelligent the system can be thought of, possibly. That's a potential way of defining intelligence. It's not the only way of defining intelligence, but essentially the larger the set of patterns that you recognize. I think I said this already, so let me skip this part. So now important part, what is not AI? So AI म्हणजे काय? Yeah, प्रश्न.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Is QR code and barcode a part of AI?
Let's come to that. So त्या प्रश्न असा होता की is QR code and barcode part of AI? So maybe I will rephrase the question. एखादी सिस्टीम असली तो त्या शॉप्स मध्ये असतात ते QR code readers or barcode readers. You press a button, it reads a barcode. Is that AI or is that not AI? It's not AI. So okay, how many of you think दुकानात जे barcode readers असतात, that system is AI? Not many people. Okay, thermostat. इथे जे air conditioning system आहे, त्यात एक गोष्ट असते त्याला म्हणतात thermostat. म्हणजे असं की टेम्परेचर बरंच खालती गेलं, इफ इट रिचेस लेट्स से 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस, मग एसी ऑटोमॅटिकली बंद होतं. थोड्या वेळाने टेम्परेचर वाढेल, 21 झालं की पुन्हा तो थर्मोस्टॅट चालू होतो. थर्मोस्टॅट नाही चालू होत, म्हणजे द थर्मोस्टॅट सेज दॅट ओके एसी पुन्हा चालू होईल. 21 पर्यंत टेम्परेचर गेलं की थर्मोस्टॅट पुन्हा चालू होईल, मग टेम्परेचर पुन्हा खालती येईल. 20च्या खालती गेलं की पुन्हा एसी बंद होईल आणि एसी चालू बंद असं होत राहील आणि टेम्परेचर विल बी मेंटेन बिटवीन से 20 and 21 डिग्रीज. हे थर्मोस्टॅट काम करतं इथे. इज दॅट ए AI? इज दॅट ए आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजन्स? इट्स नॉट. ओके, हाउ अबाउट सेल्फ ड्रायव्हिंग कार? Why is that artificial intelligence? What is a self driving car doing? It learned how to drive. Okay, so I have not yet talked about learning. That's a new word, by the way. I have not yet talked about learning at all, ever in this lecture. But okay. काय? Okay, fine. Sorry, somebody else is answering. Wait, one more. The car drives itself. Okay. So the car sees. Okay, new words. Learning is a new word. Sees. A computer system sees its surrounding and navigates. Two new words, sees and navigate. Sorry, your answer. So let me give a chance to somebody else.
The artificial intelligence is when car is trained itself that it recognizes the patterns around the road and takes the decision that.
So it recognizes the patterns and takes a decision based on those patterns. Azul?
It analyzes its surroundings and then decides whether.
Okay, it analyzes the surrounding, then it decides. Okay, so the common theme is there is a system that detects something. In this case, something will be images, photos, images, videos, वगैरे, and a decision has to be taken. AC जे कंट्रोल करतात ते AC कसं कंट्रोल करतात? It detects the temperature and it takes a decision. So why is the AC not artificial intelligence and why is a self-driving car artificial intelligence? What is the big difference between an AC and a self-driving car? Outside, but the AC can be outside also, not that. Some patterns are different. ओके, लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ इनपुट्स. म्हणजे काहीतरी गोष्ट एखादी खूप सोपी वाटली की मेबी दॅट्स नॉट इंटेलिजन्स. Is it really? But okay, so I'm just asking questions, okay? I'm not giving you answers at all. मी फक्त तुम्हाला विचार करायला प्रवृत्त करतोय की पुढे याच्याबद्दल तुम्हालाच विचार करायचा आहे. ह्या दोन गोष्टींमधला स्पेसिफिक फरक काय आहे? खरंच काही फरक आहे का नाहीये? आणि असला तर काय आहे आणि नसला तर का नाहीये? थर्मोस्टॅट सो दॅट्स अमाउंट नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स खूप गोष्टी आहेत. सो खूप म्हणजे सो बऱ्याच गोष्टी असल्या की इंटेलिजंट होतं. Is that what makes intelligence? So let me give a chance to other people. So only not the same people. Okay. Decision making. Okay. So I think one word that got missed was learning. So somebody you said learning. Okay. So there is a notion of learning in the sense that जर डेटा दिला की त्या डेटा पासून can you recognize a pattern that you have not seen before? That's something that the AC cannot do. If the AC is kept inside a fridge, it will fail. It has never seen 0 degrees Celsius and it will have no idea what to do. A self-driving car, on the other hand, takes into account a much larger set of inputs that it can somehow navigate. So the learning part of it is something that is very different from a non-learning system. How exactly to define learning is not a straightforward, that what is learning requires at least 5 lectures. So I'm not going to tell you all the details. But basically learning is one of the key differences in a AI system versus a non-AI system. You learn something from data. And how you learn it, part of the learning is what I said about this. You look at a million patterns and then you know which patterns occur, which patterns don't occur. That's also learning. But that's not the only part of learning. Learning has a lot more to it as well. So, so what is not AI? Some of these, well, again, some of the technologies I wouldn't call the self-driving car AI, but that's my opinion. Anyway, so that is a little bit about what is not AI. I wanted to show this, but these slides can be on the web page. You can look up these videos on YouTube later. A word of caution: overhype about AI. This is largely about that what is not AI, what is it that we should not really call AI, and so on and so forth. And if you want so this goes from a lot more serious to a lot more light-hearted criticism of AI. The bottom sentence is the much more light-hearted way of looking at what AI is not. Anyway, so I'll skip these things for now. I don't want to show YouTube videos right now because I don't know if the audio will play or not. And now, आतापर्यंत जे बघितलं, those were what is AI, how is AI working, and now some characteristics, that is descriptions of AI. AI is at least 2 things for sure. It's a computer program that we have written that we can shut down if we want. So there's no this talk about will AI take over. Well, I mean, if we allow it to, sure, why not, right? But have we caused climate change? Yes, we have. The same way we can allow AI to take over in the sense that we can let AI do whatever it wants without control. Sure, but that's a choice. Anyway, so it's a computer program for sure. It's an extremely powerful tool and hence should be used with extreme caution. What else? What else is AI? Anything else? AI is. AI is very smart. Okay, good. Something else? Anything else?
As you mentioned earlier, it learns.
It learns. AI is a learning technology, so that's one way to put it. Is made to replicate human ideas, human behavior, and so on. Yes, human imitation is a big part of AI. Imitation games. I don't know if you have seen that movie. Okay, so here is a set of analogies, right? How do birds fly and how do aeroplanes fly? Is there a commonality between the flight of birds and the flight of aeroplanes? What is common? What's common? Wings is common, but pretty much that's it. It ends right there. The birds of the wings of an aeroplane do not flap, for example, right? The same way with running and driving, locomotion. So how do things move? How do animals move? प्राणी कसे धावतात? Usually धावतात, right? That's what most of the animals, in fact, none of the animals have wheels. There's no animal with a wheel in order for locomotion. There's slight bit of, actually birds, this is a little bit of like a wheel, but anyway. But how do we move when we are not walking? How do artificial locomotion that humans have created, how does that take place? It's almost always, except for aeroplanes, it's based on wheels. So locomotion done by artificial means, cars, is wheel based. Locomotion done by natural means, animals, is based on a completely different principle, running, right? So these, the same way, there is a big difference between brain, the way the brain works, and the way artificial intelligence works. There is not necessarily a huge parallel between AI and brain. It's exactly like the other two. Birds and planes both fly, the mechanism is completely different. Animals run, cars run, there is locomotion, but the mechanism is completely different. Brain and AI, they recognize patterns, they generate images, write poetry, this, that, so on and so forth, but the mechanisms are completely different. That's largely because biological neurons and artificial neurons are completely different. And I don't have time to describe the differences. And if you want to know where these differences go, or what is it that we don't know how to do, life, what's the artificial counterpart to life? No idea. What's the artificial counterpart to evolution? No idea. And so on and so forth. But anyway, okay. So what is AI? What is AI? AI is a way to do the things that kind of our brain wants to do, but done in a very, very different fashion by essentially recognizing patterns. Okay, too bad these people left. What is not AI? What AI is not? And my first answer to what AI is not is actually smartness. Somebody here said AI is very smart, but I don't think so. Anyway, AI is not, and I don't think AI is intelligent. AI is artificial intelligence, yes, well, sure, that's what the artificial intelligence means, but AI is not intelligent in a sense in which I think of intelligence. Now we can debate, we can have a 3-hour debate on this, but okay, anything else? AI is not. Now, AI is not magic. AI is not magic, yes. AI is a computer program that we have written, it's not magic. Not emotional. Good, thank you. So let me go two points further. AI is not emotionally intelligent. It's artificial intelligence, not emotionally intelligent. Anything else? I already said authentic. Okay, I don't know what authentic means actually. So by the way, मी माझ्या मित्रांना प्रश्न विचारले की ओके कंप्लीट द सेंटेन्स AI इज नॉट आणि त्यांनी जी काही उत्तरं दिली आहेत त्यातली थोडीशी मी उत्तरं इथे लिहिली आहेत. सो दीज आर फ्रॉम माय फ्रेंड्स अँड कलिग्स अँड सो ऑन. AI is not authentic, AI is not emotionally intelligent. अजून का तुझं sincere. Oh, that's a deep word. Yeah. Sorry? Creative. Thank you. AI is not creative, AI is not insightful. Sentient, I wanted to put it there, I didn't put it because I don't know what that means. I don't know what sentience is in the first place. But yes, that has been used. AI is not sentient. No clue what it means because I don't know what sentience means. But anyway, yeah, that is true. Anything else? Creative?
It's not natural.
It's not natural. Sure. My own personal answer was something that's hidden. Maybe the people behind can see it. I don't know. What is lacking in AI, pretty much universally and for sure, is that it does not have a self-drive or a motivation. As I said, it's an input-output map. You give an input, you get an output. You give an input, you get an output. You give an input, you get an output. If you don't give an input, you will not get an output. It's not driven in the sense that I get up in the morning, I put on my clothes and I go to office to work. Hopefully you get up in the morning enthusiastically to go to school, and so on and so forth. The drive, a drive to do something, is completely missing for sure in AI, and I hope that remains the same. But anyway, yeah.
That was the question, how long?
How long? Okay, so how long will that remain? Question?
AI is not independent.
AI is not independent, sure, exactly. Thank you. I will add that next time.
But when
Azun could, yeah.
when you say drive, it also an AI is driven towards a goal. So in
AI is driven towards a goal conditioned on the input.
yeah.
I'm not sure that I'm driven towards a goal purely based on the external input. And that applies to almost all of life. Viruses are driven. I don't think anybody will call virus intelligent necessarily. Bacteria are driven. They take decisions, they make their life, bacteria are alive for sure. Viruses are alive. Well, okay, that's the borderline, just about the borderline. Viruses are driven. Their life is driven by something. By what? That's a big debate about how are biological systems driven. Motivation is a big word. Driven is certainly something that everybody agrees. So I think that's something missing, and I hope, as somebody pointed out, how long, I hope it remains missing. It's not clear that we know what life means, and that's why the previous slide where, right, luckily, I would say luckily, we don't know how to fill up the question marks in that. Evolution, life, we don't have an artificial realization of those things. I hope it remains the same. Otherwise, we are really doomed. But anyway. So drive, motivation, and so on. So, if the question is, will my job be taken over by AI? I think not really if you have the last of these, drive and motivation. If you have self-driven capabilities, then I think you will find a job to do that AI will not do. And on that note, I think I will stop. Yeah.
Can you expand on this code,
On the last quote.
Yes.
Look, this is just a code I got from somewhere. I'm not. I would like to leave it as a question rather than giving an answer. मला पण याचं उत्तर माहिती नाही. I have no idea what the answer should be. I'm not clear. I don't have a clear answer in my own mind either. So.
What are your thoughts?
Oh, that's why I say I don't have a clear answer. So, as a scientist, I'm allowed to be confused, which is a good thing. Yeah, sorry.
I think the virus is intelligent because it fights for the survival.
Virus is intelligent, and yeah, sure, I think virus can be called intelligent, sure. And drive is a part of viruses for sure. So if being driven is a definition of intelligence, then maybe every living system is possibly an intelligent system. And then maybe that's one distinction that we can go with. But
One
sorry,
more question.
yeah, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
AI requires a lot of graphical power.
Can I take it in just 2 minutes afterwards? But a more technical answer. So let me.
Maybe previous one, 2 slides previous.
Yeah.
When you talk about life and evolution. Right?
Yes.
Isn't upgrading an evolution, upgrading a system or upgrading AI or some?
Okay. So is upgrading systems evolution or not? Possibly, I guess if you have studied biology, the evolution has 2 aspects. One is, well, you get something new, but how do you get that new thing? There are things that are basically called genetic algorithms, and the genetic algorithms try to imitate evolution in a computer algorithm. And whether the systems, upgraded systems that come out of genetic algorithms, is that really evolution? That's a big debate. But so let me take the answer about this graphical thing. Why is graphical? So I think the question was, why is graphics cards, GPUs, graphical processing units, a crucial aspect of AI? Actually, it is absolutely not. The only difference is that there are two big differences. GPU cards are extremely efficient at the kind of mathematical operations that are required for AI. They were designed to be efficient at those operations, and then they got used in AI, essentially matrix multiplication, effectively at the base of it. And they work at a much lower precision. 16-bit, 32-bit, 8-bit nowadays, and so on and so forth. So that's the technical part of it. And hence the efficiency comes, and the efficiency gives it power, and the power gives it the utility in AI, and that's it. But there's no fundamental reason for graphical units as such.
Nothing to do with the input you said, patterns or
Nothing to do with that, no. It's an algorithm that is efficiently implemented on graphical units and not on CPUs, but yeah. Yes.
At the present time, AI is covering a wide range of functions.
Yes.
But there are negative sides of AI also, right?
Negative sides of AI, yeah, I guess the parts that are completely left out of AI, yes. Negative sides of AI, there is a lot.
Like
yeah?
recently in Microsoft, there was a cyber attack which stopped almost half of the world.
Okay, so let's not get into specific details. There are a large, as I said, it's a powerful tool, and hence it has to be used with caution. The negative parts of AI, plenty of negative things. Bias, moral, it doesn't know about how to distinguish between good and bad because we don't know how to define good and bad. Right and wrong, so on and so forth. So a lot of things that we don't know how to define properly are some things that AI cannot do well.
So
largely,
my question
essentially.
is that
Yeah.
should we limit AI to different activities it does at this time, or should we allow it to expand even further, covering more?
We definitely should limit AI. How and how much is the question. Right?
Scientists do research. So can AI do the same research faster and more effective than actual scientists?
AI is an extremely fast and efficient tool. Whether it can do the research that a scientist does, I don't think so, largely because of my answer about that last bullet point. Again, always the last bullet point. So that's the difference. It doesn't ask new questions. You ask a question, it can give you answer efficiently, yes. But who asked the question? The question has to be asked by the scientist. Human scientist. Oh, okay, fine. Not necessarily human. Life is good enough for me. Yeah.
Sir, regarding that last point, driven or motivated one, sir, is that consciousness the answer to that word?
Consciousness is too complicated for me to understand. I have no idea what to say about consciousness. Sorry. I really don't know anything about consciousness.
Or awareness or something like that.
You just change the word. The concept remains the same. So I have no idea what to say about it. No clue. Question. Yeah. Yes. Oh. Yeah.
So, what does that even mean? I mean, so even in a way, it's related to what drive is, what motivation is. Like, does that?
So I guess what do you mean by so it's extremely that goes to what I said previously. It's an extremely powerful tool, and yes, so it is efficient, it is effective, so on and so forth. But what does that mean for drive? I'm not very sure. I don't know how to define this last bullet point at all. No clue. And
Does that mean that a lot of our jobs or a lot of our processes are actually
Okay. I don't know the answers to these questions. Sorry. I think this is a discussion than an answer. I would not want to give a one word or one sentence answer to this.
I just want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I have a question which is quite subjective, that each week there is new launch of AI, like in 2023 the ChatGPT was launched, which we get used to. Like a week ago Cloudy, a new version was launched.
Yeah.
But when I asked them like quite complicated mathematics problem, it's not giving me the answer correctly. So is it like it is not that intelligent to solve maths, or it is like we need newer version? Or is there
So, what kind of mathematical questions can AI answer? It's something that is a ongoing work. The newer and newer models answer more and more complicated questions. Whether solving complicated questions is intelligence or not, again, no idea. It all goes to how do you define each of these terms is where the problems with calling AI, giving AI the adjectives that are written over here, the part of the problem is firstly defining what these things are. So it is expected that many of the complicated mathematical problems will in fact be answerable by an appropriate computer program, AI, at some point in not too far a future possibly as well. But then of course there is this last part as well eventually, that the whole point is, can we start now devising questions that the AI cannot answer? Is that game a never-ending game? Or will we reach a point where whatever question that we can come up with will be answered by an appropriate AI, and then where are we? I don't know. Anyway,
Sir, I just have the doubt that if it is not able to, like the current versions are not able to answer the maths problem which I can solve and they can't, so the like pictograph of future, that self-driving cars or flying trains, is it possible or is just a buzzword?
Well, it depends on how you, a self-driving car in India and a self-driving car in the US perform a completely different function. The unstructured and unruly environment in which drivers in India have to drive cars as opposed to follow the lane kind of driving in the US largely, and somebody suddenly crosses the road and then there is accident. So I think the self-driving cars is a completely different ball game than solving mathematical questions. Actually, even more difficult is coming up with new questions, and that's the part that is actually, I would say, largely different for sure. Answering involves whether the answers involve pattern recognition or not. Recognizing certain patterns and using that to answer, usually AI will do it, and whether that is all that there is to solving math questions or not, it's not completely clear at all. Yes.
Do you think AI is going to...
Sorry. No, sorry, go ahead.
do you think AI is going to affect the way human brain evolves?
Oh, no idea. No clue. I don't want to take a shot at this answer. Whatever answer I give will be wrong. So let's not give an answer.
Hello. Sir, a member of Musk's team recently said that they don't need Indian programmers anymore because the low-level programming jobs can be done by AI. So if programming jobs itself are going to get affected in the near future, in the coming 10 years, then what will be the job scenarios across the board?
Yeah. That's almost surely going to happen, yes. It's kind of like how, let's say, learning typing, becoming a typist was a job at some point. There are no typing classes anymore. He said, there are maybe a few here and there, but essentially none. What else? There is a whole bunch of kind of jobs that have come up and disappeared, and programming jobs are going to become less. What will not become less will be designing programming systems. So what is it that you want to get the program to do? Of course, that's something that humans still have to decide. As I said, the AI is not going to decide what needs to be done. So the jobs will go from writing programs to deciding what the program needs to do. So the decision-making part is where the shift will be, for sure. And that.
What about routine jobs such as accounting, banking?
I know so little about banking that I have no idea. Sorry, no idea. I really don't know anything about banking. So sorry, I can't answer the question.
I'm so sorry. That might be the last question we take for the now. Because
we have lots of questions. We can also talk later. But yeah, there was questions there. But we can talk offline.
Just
please,
last.
sorry.
Or we can take that last question.
Hey, he has asked lots of questions. Maybe
sorry. There, one.
Go ahead.
वो last रखते हैं.
Just ask question. I can hear you.
OpenAI मीन्स DeepSeek ने OpenAI का डाटा लिया तो हमने OpenAI का डाटा ही DeepSeek का ही डाटा लेके नया मॉडल ट्रेन किया तो ये लीगली होगा कुछ ऐसे मीन्स
Legalities is a big issue that is currently being debated, and there is no clear answer to that question at all. Firstly, the data that OpenAI used, are those data legal, is a question that is being debated in multiple law cases across the world. OpenAI has been sued because, for example, if you're using a data, the data coming out of novels, and the novels were written by authors, whose data are those? The authors, the publishers, OpenAI? Who owns those data? Nobody knows. I mean, I think those questions are really, really difficult, and there is no clear answer at all yet. So, yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's all thank Professor Amit Apte for such an amazing talk. I think we discussed a lot of really crucial questions about AI.